Hey everyone, it's John here from Hot Take Hockey, back with another video, and this video is going to be 5 potential trades for Pierre-Luc Dubois. Dubois signed a 2-year extension with the Blue Jackets, 5 per, 10 total, and man, it's crazy because if you look at Dubois, he's obviously worth more than $5 million, but he signs this short-term deal in the hopes that he's looking for a change of scenery. He's looking for a potential trade, but right now, out of his quotes and based on what he said and his agent has said, he's focused on the upcoming season, but we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we don't know if the Blue Jackets will be in the playoffs. We don't know if, Dubois is just going to focus on this year. Maybe they make the playoffs, and then this goes into the offseason, which still stands for this video. I'm going to look at some trades here that could go down in 2021. So if you are new to the channel, welcome. Please smash that like button. And if you are a subscriber, I hope to see you just on live streams, videos going forward. I'll be doing more videos like this. But Dubois is the topic for this one. I do want to get into some trades, and definitely let me know your thoughts. So starting with this first scenario. So these are trade targets, I should say. Not specific trades, but I'm going to discuss what the trades could look like. So some targets that the Blue Jackets could look at for the Montreal Canadiens. If a Dubois trade was going to go down, I don't think Kekalainen obviously wants to trade Dubois. No one in Columbus wants to trade Dubois. But if it has to go down, if he's like, you know what, there's no future here, they should get assets back. Montreal is one of the perfect opportunities to get some assets back. And I honestly didn't include Phillip Danault in here, only because Phillip Danault's a UFA at the end of the season. So I just don't know if that would be a trade now. Like if a trade was including Danault for Dubois, like that's a trade that's happening right now. I'm thinking this trade might happen during the season or maybe at the end in the offseason. Regardless, I think this trade would have to include one of Kotkaniemi and Caulfield, a roster player, and then potentially even a high pick. This is Pierre-Luc Dubois, 22 years old. You saw how he led the Blue Jackets in the playoffs, whether it's Habs fans or any fan base. Like, I don't understand how you could look at this trade and not have to give up a top-tier prospect or a top-tier young player. Kotkaniemi has not shown to be a top-tier guy in the Habs lineup yet. He's shown, obviously, signs, and in the playoffs he showed signs, but he hasn't showed that completely yet. So it would have to be Kotkaniemi and another piece and maybe a pick. Or Caulfield, another piece and a pick. So Caulfield's a guy that I think might have to be included here unless it's like Kotkaniemi, Duran, and like a first. Then maybe Columbus is like, okay, like let's see here. But Caulfield is kind of that guy that makes Columbus think about it more, right? I don't think Columbus needs defense, and I don't think Montreal wants to lose a guy like Romanov, so that's why I don't have him here. But if this trade was to happen soon, then Danault could be in this, where you keep Kotkaniemi and then maybe lose Caulfield and Danault, and then maybe Columbus considers something around that. But I do think Montreal has a real chance here to take advantage of the situation. I mean, we talked about Barzal maybe going to Montreal if that didn't work out with the Islanders or if something went down. But this is looking more of a situation here where imagine Montreal having a 1-2 punch of Dubois and Suzuki. That'd be pretty good. So we'll go to the next one here. The Winnipeg Jets. Imagine a Laine for Dubois swap. I think Dubois is obviously worth more. So Laine and Roslovic maybe. And maybe another piece, Vesalainen for maybe Dubois and David Savard. You get a defenseman in Winnipeg, you get Dubois. I'm just throwing out a mock trade out there. That's not too bad. But it'd be Columbus getting Laine, a legit scorer. It'd be Columbus getting Roslovic, who's from Columbus, the Columbus, Ohio area, and Vesalainen, who is a young prospect that, you know what, he hasn't gotten his opportunity with Winnipeg yet. So I'm thinking these 3 guys maybe head to Columbus, or 2 of these guys head to Columbus. It's possible, and you know what, Winnipeg with Dubois, man, I mean, you know what, Stastny would be kind of that rental because he's only got 1 year left, but Winnipeg would be looking pretty good if they could get one of the defensemen in Columbus plus Dubois. Depth with Scheifele and Dubois down the middle for years to come. That'd be pretty good. And you know what? I like the opportunity. Obviously, it's a hot take. I think 1 for 1. But you know what? I think Winnipeg could be a good fit. The Calgary Flames. I actually saw this. I think someone was proposing it on Twitter. Sean Monahan and another piece and maybe a pick for Pierre-Luc Dubois. I think the interesting thing is I've suggested in the past, maybe with Barzal or another piece, I think Calgary may have to move on eventually from Monahan if things are just not working out. I mean, this is the opportunity this year for Calgary to show, you know what, if you're getting a goalie in Markstrom, you have the complete defense, your offense improved. I mean, if you're not doing well still, something's got to change. And, I mean, maybe Dubois is that upgrade that you need over Monahan. So if it's Monahan, then another piece, maybe it's Bennett, and maybe it's Shillington. maybe that's too much in terms of Flames fans, their perspective, but I do think that Columbus would want a lot. And if Dubois would be willing to sign an extension in Calgary, then maybe it's worthwhile. The Minnesota Wild. So this one's maybe a little tougher, but I do think with Kaprizov coming into the picture, Fiala the way he's been playing, and a lot of the younger wingers, and the expansion draft coming along, I think Winnipeg's willing to get rid of a couple guys, but they want that number one centerman soon enough. And maybe they have that in Marco Rossi, but imagine in the future, Dubois and Rossi at the middle. That would be a lot of fun. So you look at Eriksson Ek, who is already at risk to be exposed for the expansion draft, and maybe Matthew Dumba and another piece. That really should intrigue Columbus enough. And then, yes, they would probably move on from David Savard, Columbus. But you bring in Matthew Dumba, that would be pretty good. And, yeah, I mean, it's an option. But I do want to look at this hot take because Minnesota's a good option. But imagine the New York Islanders. And I'm not saying Barzal has to be the guy going back. But in terms of the two issues we're looking at right now, Barzal not signing a contract, Dubois signing the contract but still kind of wanting a trade. We don't know the situation with Barzal right now. Regardless, it's something to talk about. And say Barzal did sign long-term. Dubois and Barzal would be looking pretty good as a 1-2 punch in the island, or on the island, I should say. And Brock Nelson, Kiefer Bellows, and another piece could be intriguing enough for Columbus to get it done. So when I talk about another piece, it would have to be like a first-round pick or a high prospect as well. So Nelson, Bellows, and I know the Islanders fans wouldn't want to lose a guy like Wahlstrom, but I think it would have to be Bellows or Wahlstrom, and then, yeah, maybe a first-round pick plus. So I'm thinking you go Brock Nelson, Kiefer Bellows, a first and a second. I'm thinking if you're Columbus, you consider that if you're scared you're going to lose Dubois. So that's not the best case scenario, but I thought I would just throw the hot take of Barzal in there. Like, I mean, if it's not working out with the Islanders for Barzal, if it's not working out for the Blue Jackets with Dubois, I mean, kind of a similar situation with Laine. But, you know, there's just a lot of hot takes out there right now. There's a lot of crazy rumors. None of this might happen, but I do think out of the big three we've been talking about, I do think Laine is still the most likely, because I think with Dubois at the very least, maybe a conversation happens. But I would say right now, it's very likely Dubois gets traded. Like, very likely. Right now, it's as likely as Laine getting traded. At this very moment, it's just so fresh that I could say maybe more. But with Laine, it's just been so long. Like, it's been like 2 years where he's not been happy. So that's where I'm like, okay, I don't see him having that long-term future with the Winnipeg. But with Dubois, he's had success, man, and he's the number one guy. He's their superstar on that team. So while Laine's complaining about not having a good fit in Winnipeg, like, that's the thing for me. Like, he's just not liking the fit. I don't know if he doesn't like the city or if he doesn't like the roster. I don't know if it's any of that, but based on what we've heard, it's just based on him not having that role. It's him not being the superstar. Dubois is the superstar in Columbus. So for me, that's crazy to think, again, what's going on? Panarin wanted to leave. Bobrovsky wanted to leave. Duchesne left. What's going on in Columbus? I know a lot of people say Ohio, like, ain't top notch, but is it that bad? Let me know in the comments. I've never been to Ohio. What's going on over there? But thank you so much. Please do subscribe if you're new. Smash that like button. Definitely leave your thoughts in the comment section. Hope to see you soon. This was John from MONTREAL. Have a good one. Peace out.